Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
How are we today?
22nd.
1 second, please. Okay. Okay, very good. Are we ready? All right, very good. We'll begin the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, very good. Against? Hearing none. We have approved the minutes of the last meeting. I believe, Sarah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that we need a motion to suspend all council rules that require or contemplate in-person meetings and in-person voting.
Correct.
Okay, we do need that. Okay, saying that, is there someone that would like to make that motion to suspend all council rules that require or contemplate in-person meetings and in-person voting?
Councilman Jeff Fusco, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you all. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Thank you. The ayes do have it. Okay, very good. Now we'll move on to the list of legislation. The first item is up for a public hearing today, and I'll pass it over to Mr. Antonucci for the public hearing. We'll open the public hearing, and or is Helen Tomic here for item number one? Okay, unmute yourself.
Helen, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. Good afternoon, committee chair, committee members. We're here to present the 2020 annual consolidated plan budget to council. The annual consolidated plan budget prioritizes the budget for the expenditure of community development block grant funds, home investment partnership grant program funds, and the emergency solutions grant program for the homeless. The goals of the programs are to assist primarily low and moderate income persons, to improve existing housing conditions, to develop affordable housing, expand economic opportunities, and to aid the homeless. This year, the city has prepared an $8.6 million budget. This includes $6,150,000 of community development block grant funds, which represents a 1.3% increase from 2019 allocation. $1,475,000 on home funds, which represents an 8.1% increase from the 2019 allocation, and $530,000 of emergency solutions grant program funding, which is a 3.6% increase from 2019. We are also anticipating receiving about $500,000 in program income. The 2020 plan, among its recommendation, includes the following key initiatives: continuing our Akron housing program in conjunction with the LED program and also our roofing program, continue the construction of new housing, improve parks and community centers, support the nonprofit community housing development corporations, supporting emerging CDCs or community development corporations, looking to continue to support our minor home repair program, continuing to support our emergency shelters and our rapid rehousing programs, continuing to support our community services program, our Great Streets program initiatives, along with the other economic development related strategies. The consolidated plan includes a narrative describing the housing needs of low-income families, homeless families, and special needs. We are set to submit the budget probably by July 15th to Department of Housing and Urban Development, and we request this item to be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Tomic. This is a public hearing, so I will ask, is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Sarah, do you know, is there anyone online?
There's no one in the waiting room and no one signed up.
Okay, thank you very much. For formality though, we'll ask again, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor? Okay, very good. Is there anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone wishing to speak against? Okay, very good. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and we'll open up to the committee members. Should there be any questions from any committee members? I do have one quick question. Now, Helen, this is a couple weeks ago, we approved the COVID, right?
Correct.
Okay, so this is our usual allocation. Is that
Correct.
true?
A couple weeks ago, council approved the amendment to the 2019 consolidated plan, which allowed for an additional $3.6 million of CDBG funds and $1.8 million of homeless funds. These funds are strictly for 2020. There is no language in here related to anything dealing with the COVID outbreak.
Okay, very good. And this is in terms of what we had allocated last year, is it basically the same or?
It's about $200,000 more.
Okay. Very good. Questions from anyone? Any committee members or council members at this time? Any questions?
We did place the memo in council's box with the budget for your review as well.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Hearing none, we'll just go ahead and move on to the second item that is up for a public hearing at this time. And we'll remind our everyone on the call here that we will be having a public hearing on this evening as well. So item number 2.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, though. So, although I can't. Host is disabled screen sharing.
Give me
Okay,
just 1 second.
that's okay.
1 second, there is a checkbox I have to find and click for you. 1 second.
Aha. Just to put up the map.
All right, there you go. You should be able to now.
Aha. There we go.
Nice.
Okay, in 2013, the city established a new Unified Plan Development District, or UPD 48, on several current and former Bridgestone Firestone Tire and Rubber Company properties. So it's this area here, which is the actual main building, triangle building for county, and a new office park, Cole Avenue Extension. And then this part down here, that's the Bridgestone Firestone facilities there, Wilbeth and Maine. So at the time, a mixed-use residential retail redevelopment was envisioned for the area. The UPD therefore established permitted uses ranging from apartments to retail and commercial. That plan has not been realized, and the city and Bridgestone have determined that commercial and industrial uses are more appropriate reuses of the existing buildings or redevelopment of the properties. The south end of the district contains a large industrial building that is currently being rehabilitated for use here as an advanced tire production and testing facility. The north end of the district has been cleared of several large structures, and Cole Avenue has been extended westward to form a cul-de-sac. It's that, laying the groundwork for a new business industrial park. In an effort to promote and assist the present and future redevelopment within the Firestone Business Park, the planning staff is examining current code regulations regarding permitted uses. The staff has developed a list of amendments to UPD 48 that it believes would lead to an appropriate redevelopment of the district by removing residential uses while expanding to allow industrial uses. At the same time, certain inappropriate new commercial uses, such as auto sales or body shops, would be eliminated. And both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Antonucci. At this time, we'll open up the public hearing portion. And I'll ask, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the zoning code adjustment? Anyone wishing to speak in favor?
There is
Anyone?
no one on that has signed up and no one in the waiting room for this item.
Okay, thank you for that. Very good. I'll ask again, anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone? Okay, hearing none, we'll ask, is there anyone wishing to speak against the zoning code adjustment? Anyone against? Okay, very good. Hearing none. Is there any council members have any comments? can't see council members because of the map in front of us. So if there's anyone wishing to have any comments, committee members, anyone? Any committee members? Okay, good. Seeing none. Any council members have any questions or comments? Anyone? Anybody? Okay, good. Okay, with that, we'll now move on to the third item, which I do believe is up for public hearing as well. And I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Antonucci.
Okay, I'll go
Give
ahead
me,
and
sorry, Mr. Antonucci, give me one
Yes.
moment as I let the two people in for that one. Okay, it looks like the two petitioners have entered the meeting.
Mr. Antonucci, I'm going to swear you in if that's okay.
and I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Okay. So Mei Chen is requesting permission to establish an adult daycare facility within a portion of the eastern building on this property. The adult daycare facility would operate within this northwestern portion of the east building. This wing of the structure is a single story and contains roughly 11,500 square feet. Submitted plans indicate 2 large activity centers, restrooms, a kitchen, and an office within the leased space. Outdoor amenities would include picnic tables, chairs, and raised garden beds. The fenced and gated property provides ample space for employee parking, client drop-off and pickup, and the storage of transportation vans. The petitioner states the goal of the proposed adult daycare facility is to provide accessible resources to improve the quality of life for immigrant seniors, their caregivers, and the community at large. The site is the former location of Asian Services in Action, Inc., or Asia, and is well known to the immigrant community. Asia provides social, health, educational, and advocacy programs to immigrant populations and recently moved to a new location at 370 East Market Street. Asia Wellness Adult Daycare will partner with Asia to meet the expanding needs of those they serve. Asia occupied the site for nearly 20 years without issue, although the legal establishment of the retail use in this industrial district is unclear. Nevertheless, the adult daycare center would be compatible with surrounding areas. Goals of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan include guiding the location of retail developments so that it will be convenient to residents served. Additionally, one of the principles of the Middlebury Neighborhood Plan adopted by the Well CDC is to explore opportunities for entrepreneurship and reuse by responding to the underutilized and strategically located warehouse stock in the community to uncover opportunities that are inclusive of an ethnically diverse and working class neighborhood. And both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Antonucci. At this time, we will now open it up for a public hearing. I'm going to request, is there anyone here, excuse me, anyone here wishing to speak in favor of the conditional use request located at 730 Carroll Street? Anyone wishing to speak in favor?
We do have 2 people that have joined the Zoom meeting, and a member of our law department will need to swear them in.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. I'm not sure who's here to swear our folks in.
Yes, Mei Chen is here.
Okay, Ms.
Thank
Chen,
you.
can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the truth? If so, please say I do.
Yes. Do you see me by any chance?
Yes.
Oh, because I only see a fan on my room. Okay, so you see me. Thank you.
Kind of. Yeah. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, good. Short of that, we have now opened the public hearing, and we'll ask us if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor. If you could please provide for the committee your name and address. And we'd love to hear from you, those speaking in favor. Ms. Chen?
Oh, okay, Mei Chen. You want my address?
Yes, please.
4067 North Shore Drive, Akron, Ohio, 44333.
Thank you.
We really believe it's going to meet a very critical need in the community, because this is going to be a very culturally and linguistically relevant adult daycare that we're going to provide. As you know, because of the communication issues and service issues, many of our elder immigrants are reluctant to participate or be serviced by the mainstream adult daycares. So we hope that this will be successful. And of course, so much of it is driven by this virus issue in our community now, because we want it to be safe and effective. And until we are assured that this virus is under control, I think it is going to be, the plans are temporarily on hold.
Very good. Thank you so much, Ms. Chen. Thank you.
So you're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak in favor of the conditional use requests at 730 Carroll? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else? Okay. Anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone wishing to speak against? Very good. We'll now close the public hearing. And Ms. Chen, we'll invite you back this evening at 7 o'clock if you'd like to join us again. We'll have the second public hearing. After that public hearing, what we'll do is this committee, I'll ask for a vote in terms of either approving, disapproving, or just tabling, taking time on the issue. So we'll do that this evening at 7, but we'll have an additional public hearing in which you'd have an opportunity to speak again, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You're welcome to stay online if you'd like. Is there any questions from any committee members? Any questions whatsoever? Any questions? Okay. Is there somebody? No questions. Any questions from council representatives? Any council members have any questions or comments reference to 730 Carroll Street? Anyone? Okay, good. Hearing none, we'll now move on to the new list of legislation. Short of any concerns, reference the regular list of legislation. A lot of public hearings up and coming, I see. I'm going to recommend time on the balance of that agenda and move on to the new. And we have 2 items that are up for public hearing this afternoon. I'm sorry, silly me. No, 2 new items on our agenda. And I'll read in the first one. Ordinance authorizing conditional use to establish a type A child daycare center at 1355 Blackstone Avenue and declaring an emergency. I see that's scheduled for a public hearing on July 13th. So I'd like to, all those in favor of referring that item signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, very good.
Aye.
Again, of course, we will refer that item. Thank you. The next item that's up for a public hearing is authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and, if awarded, accept and expand FY 2020 Public Works and Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant funding from the Economic Development Administration's Coronavirus Aid, Relief, Economic Security Act, CARES Act, Recovery Assistance, and declaring an emergency. Is someone here to speak on this? I see possibly Mr. Hardy.
Actually, hello, Councilman Fusco. This is Melinda Sampsel, grants manager for the city, so I can speak to that, as well as Jessica Sublett, Bounce's chief operating officer, is also on the line.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. The EDA's CARES Act recovery assistance is designed to provide a wide range of financial assistance to communities and regions as they respond to and recover from the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic. EDA is soliciting applications under the authority of its Economic Adjustment Assistance, or EAA program, which is intended to be flexible and responsive to the economic development needs and priorities of local and regional stakeholders. The City of Akron, in partnership with Bounce Innovation Hub, is seeking EDA CARES Act recovery assistance to support Akron's Bounce Innovation Hub. Funding will be used to upgrade and build out certain components in areas of the 2nd through 9th floors of the Bounce building. This includes, but is not limited to, installing infrastructure, an HVAC system, and emergency management controls, renovating certain restrooms and corridors, and expanding the public co-working space. Replacement of steam coils and installment of energy management controls on the 6th through 9th floors is also a priority for the funding. In the wake of COVID-19, all of these improvements will add capacity for increased Bounce programming and allow for enhanced partnerships with Stark State and other regional job creation and workforce development partners. I also do want to say that, again, the EDA CARES Act has allocated $1.5 billion available to apply for, beginning basically now through September 30th of, I believe it is 2022. The grant does require a 20% project match. So we're kind of shooting for the stars here. We are basically applying for going to submit an application for almost $8 million. We're hoping that EDA CARES Act funding would come in at 80%, which is about 6.3 million, meaning that there would be a local matching requirement of 1.5 million, which we know sounds very large, but again, we are going to be working with local partners, our private sector partners, corporate, Summit County government partners, as well as Elevate Greater Akron partners to secure that 20% match. And that does need to be committed, not in hand, but committed when the application is submitted. So we're shooting to apply in September, hoping to hear back regarding an award in spring of 2021. So does anyone, I'll open up to questions. I know that was a lot of information all at once, but this is the first time that EDA has released basically a capital improvement package of this amount. So again, like I said, we're kind of shooting for the stars here and hoping that we'd be able to fully build out and basically finish and complete all of the necessary Bounce renovations.
Thank you. I'll open it up for comment or questions to the committee members. Is there any committee members have any questions or comments? Any questions or comments from committee members? Okay, hearing none. Any council members have questions or comments in reference to this? I have one in terms of, or maybe a couple here. The timing on this, you did mention that, but we wouldn't have you had said that we didn't have to have the money in hand, but we will need it budgeted for next year. Is that it?
Well, again, we're hoping to split the match with our Elevate Greater Akron partners. So we would need to show a commitment of 1.5 million, and that would come not just from the city, but we're hoping to have, again, basically letters of support showing funding from our philanthropic partners, possibly GAR, possibly Knight Foundation, other corporate partners. We're looking to, our academic partners as well, Stark State University, everyone that basically would have a buy-in with Bounce and be able to, have supportive programming being offered through Bounce. So what they're looking for in the grant is basically letters of support showing where that match will come from.
Okay, very good. Now, is this a competitive? You'd mentioned the numbers nationally that's been made available. Is this competitive, or is this like a all likeliness type of thing where the money's pretty much allocated for each community, or?
So they did break down the EDA CARES Act funding. Again, that 1.5 billion is what is available nationwide. We would be competing basically in what they call the Chicago region, which I believe includes Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. So that is where our bulk of funding will come from, is again, the funding that is allocated specifically for the Chicago region.
Gotcha. Okay, good for the Chicago region. Thank you. What's the timing in terms of when you would like to see this possibly passed?
There really, as of right now, it is not a completely urgent, but we would need to show an ordinance, basically the city ordinance allowing us to apply for this funding. So we would need it with the actual application, and the application, again, we are anticipating applying hopefully in August, perhaps early September.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, good. We don't use the consent agenda anymore, right, Sarah?
We were advised not to during special meetings because consent agenda is addressed about our regular meeting procedure, but not in a special meeting.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, suspension of the rules would be welcome as well, whatever is amenable to the committee.
Yeah, is there any committee members have any concerns about passing this today? Are they okay with that? Everybody's okay, or you want to take time? We could pass it today. If there's a recommendation for suspension of the rules, I'll accept.
I'll make that recommendation for suspension of the rules.
Okay. Okay, I see, I read your lips, Mr. Swirsky, and I also saw Mr. Kamer kind of nod. So I think that's everybody's on board. Well, is that second, Mr. Kamer?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Swirsky, that's a second and a half from you. So all those in favor of moving forward with a suspension of the rules with a favorable report, signify by saying aye.
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 Those against? Very good. We hear none. So we will report that out this evening, Ms. Samso, and we will hopefully get the votes to get that passed this evening, okay?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else to come before the committee? Short of anything else, we will adjourn. Thank you all. See you in a little bit.